Please join me in welcoming our friend, President William Jefferson Clinton.
Our foundation got into this at the request of a group called the C40, headed by Ken Livingstone, the mayor of London. It recently met in New York. And they asked us if we could work with them to try to lower the cost and speed the implementation of energy efficiency mechanisms. So here's what we have agreed to do, the U.S. Conference of Mayors and our foundation's climate change effort. Going forward, our partnership to create a purchasing consortium for lower cost green technologies will not only be given to those 40 cities, but will be made available to every one of the 1,100 cities in the United States that are part of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And if what happened to the AIDS drugs or the fertilizer prices in Africa or the seed prices or the farm credit prices any indication, when we begin to collaborate with you on new technologies that can help the cities, we'll go back to the product suppliers with aggregate purchasing volumes that will be so much greater, we'll get even lower prices and therefore accelerate the market deployment of green technologies. We also want to do another thing or two that I think will help you by indirection, including a partnership with the private sector. Today I want to recognize some examples of the kind of agreements we're trying to reach with product suppliers. I'd like to mention, among other things, deals we made with more than 20 companies on hundreds of distinct products in the areas of buildings, transportation, and waste. The products include the latest generation of air conditioning chillers, advanced lamps and fixtures, energy-efficient roofing, and a lot of other cutting-edge products, like solar control, window films, software to optimize the energy usage of chiller plants, and indoor solid-state lighting. So there are a lot of people in this room who are part of this and are going to make it possible for you to buy products like this at lower prices. I'd like to recognize them and just ask them to stand. Kevin McDonald at Cooper Lighting, Christophe Fremont and Luc Gomer at SolarGard, Daryl Kretzer at Trimco, Joel Johnson at BASF Polyurethane Foam, Paul Miner at GE, Nathan Rothman at Optimum Energy. Stand up, guys. Give them a hand. I remember when I was a kid and the Russians beat us into space and everybody thought the world was coming to an end, and President Eisenhower asked us all to study science and math, and we set up NASA, and John Kennedy said we were going to go to the moon by whenever he said we beat the target. And Kennedy turned it from a threat to an opportunity. And now the space program has helped us to do all kinds of interesting things in the environment and study disease, and it has all these corollary benefits. That's what this is times 1,000. We have just scratched the surface, but we have no systems to go from all these great things that are happening to changing real people's lives, except for you. And we will not get a global agreement on climate change unless you can prove to people like you all over the world that this is not a burden, even though it's a very real threat to our children's future. It is the